Well, good morning, everybody. This is DearMamaSal on a very pretty Thursday morning. Yay, Thursday! For those of you who don't know, I don't work Friday, so Thursday is my Friday. We like that. It's 14 degrees Celsius, which would make it 57 Fahrenheit. I had to check that one because I really don't know. 14 centigrade, 57 Fahrenheit. So it looks like it's going to actually heat up quite a bit today. Very clear sky, very blue clear sky. So it looks like we've got in for a really pretty day. And I hear tomorrow is going to be even better, so that's yay. Very pleased about that. For those of you being concerned about my health, I'm fine. Literally what happens to me is I get, every couple of months or so, I get what I call an exhaustion stage where my body just doesn't want to do anything else. And it's funny because I noticed that Robin made a comment on the vlog from last night, and Robin said she notices that it happens to me after I've been away, particularly. And yes, Robin, you are correct in that. Always has. It was a problem that I had as a speaker, where if I had a difficult couple of days speaking, you know, if I had one speech to do and could come back and recover, I was fine. If I had to do, for example, a week tour or something, I would probably take 2 weeks to recover. So it's just the peculiar thing about my body. I believe, from what I understand, that my adrenaline level is somewhat depleted. So what happens is when I do anything exciting, like sit in a fire truck, which was very exciting for me, if I do anything exciting, it's inclined to pull what little adrenaline I have. Now this time it took a week for that to kick in, which was interesting. And the peculiar thing was that I really worked hard at getting enough sleep and looking after my body that way, and eating better, as you know. But it still caught up with me. Just one of those things. And I am so grateful that's all that it is. And I was also interested because Robin also commented on the opiate issue that I talked about yesterday, the painkillers, prescription painkillers, because of course her husband is one of the people that we know about that has reason to be on heavy pain medication because of his back. And so she was saying how difficult it was, and I really appreciated that comment, Robin. Extremely difficult because the doctors are fearful of prescribing now, and you can't change doctors to find one that is more likely to help prescribe, because that's considered, you know, almost doctor shopping. So it's a very difficult process that people are going through in the States. And I would like to say, as was said, unfortunately it was a man-made problem, and those men, and I say man, the doctors created the problem. The doctors kept feeding people highly addictive drugs. And as most of you know, if you start on a highly addictive drug, it's difficult to get off them. Now, I don't know how many of you actually have refused to take narcotics. But it's interesting. It's interesting when you do. I actually, when I had an operation, I ended up with 17 stitches down my stomach, not across, down. So you know it went through every major muscle group that I had. And when I first woke up from, I don't mean in post-op, I mean in the ward. When I first woke up after the operation, I think one of the first questions I asked is, what have they got me on? Because I was on a drip. And I can remember them telling me what it was, and I said, okay, I need off this right now. And they said, you can't, you've got 17 stitches down your stomach, And I said, yeah, but I really don't want to be on these drugs. I really understood, I have an addictive personality, and I was a smoker. That's an addiction. So I understand that anything that can make me addicted to something stronger, is dangerous. And now I'm addicted to you guys, right? That's what my mind was telling me. But anyway, so it's dangerous. Now, I'm not saying that I'm a drug addict or have been, well, except that cigarettes are a drug, I guess. But, I don't like to go down that road. So what I said was, get me off these drugs. And they said, well, you need them. And my response was that I wasn't sure that I did. So I needed them to talk to the doctor and get permission to take me off the opiates and get me on something I understood, like Tylenol 3 with codeine. At least I know what that's going to do to my system. I'm going to end up clogged up. So it was quite funny because I obviously became the patient from hell in that moment, and I didn't care. And so the next thing I know, they came back, and luckily my surgeon knew me pretty well and said to them, she has a pretty high threshold for pain, and if she thinks she can do without it, let her try, and make sure she knows that if she needs it back, that you can leave the butterfly in just in case we need to put it back on. So they did. They disconnected me from the drip, but left the butterfly in so that they could click me back in again if I ended up in excruciating pain, and started feeding me Tylenol 3 with codeine. And my attitude was, and bring the prunes, So it actually defied their logic because I was fine. Now, was I uncomfortable? Yeah, 17 stitches down your stomach, you're bound to be uncomfortable. It was bound to be a little sore. Duh. But was it mind-numbingly impossible? No. I could cope with it. And I actually managed to sleep quite well through the night. I woke up a couple of times, but so what? And so I never did go back on the drip. I'm sorry, my mind's going, the big drip was on a drip. Yeah, I can hear my mind talking. So I wonder what your experience is. Have any of you actually refused to take narcotics? And I can remember one time when I actually did need narcotics. I had something going on my system, and they couldn't get me into hospital because it was August and half the hospital beds were closed. And that time, they did have to give me something way stronger so I could cope with the excruciating pain. But even then, I used that as a reason why they needed to give me a bed. Because I said, you know, if the only way that I can control this pain is by being on narcotics, does it not tell you that this has gone past being an elective surgery? This is rather important. Which is when they took me in and did the hysterectomy, actually. So, interesting stuff. Now, I heard a bit of news today, and I don't think I was dreaming, that really frightened me a little bit. I heard somewhere along the line that a bill had been passed in the US against the drug cartels that allowed US drug cops to cross borders to chase down cartel members. I think that's what I heard. And if that is true, it terrifies me. And it terrifies me because it basically could be used for many reasons. It could be used as an excuse to go into various countries. Oh yeah, but we're chasing down drug kingpins or whatever. I don't know why, it just worried me a little bit. So I've got to find out more about that. If anybody else read about it, let me know. Or heard about it, or maybe was also disturbed by it. Let me know what you heard. And those of you who've got time, do a bit of Googling for us so that we can talk about that maybe in the broadcast. Alright, so here we go. For those of you who don't know, we do 3 broadcasts at the weekends. And the links are on the DearMamaSal.com site. They should also be below as far as I know. The reason I talk about that is we do 2 tomorrow. That will be Friday. 1 at noon Pacific time and 1 at 7 Pacific time. They're on 2 different broadcast mediums, so if you want to get brave and try one, that's awesome, and if you enjoy it, you might want to try the other one. If you go to the DearMamaSal.com page and click on the broadcast tab, there's a tab along the top, actually it's broadcast, you can actually see what's going on, I believe. The one that is live will actually start showing right there. So, look forward to it for those of you who might be interested. By the way, what do we talk about? Whatever comes up. We sometimes laugh a lot about absolutely nothing, and sometimes we cry because we get some people talking reality. And then sometimes we just shoot the breeze for the broadcast. You can never really know what we're going to be doing because we don't know where everybody is in them, you know, what's going on in their lives. And that's, I think, what makes it interesting, is we never quite know what we're going to be dealing with or how we're going to be dealing with it. So feel free to join us. Let us know that you are a regular viewer if you are, or that you are new to the channel, or how you got to us. Everybody's welcome except trolls. And I need to warn you that occasionally we get those. And the other thing to know is that we don't ask people to go up on camera. They don't want to. The other thing is that we don't actually put new people up on camera at all, even if they want to. We want to get to know them first and make sure that we feel comfortable. And it's a group decision, not just mine. So that sounds good. So I look forward to meeting you all. If you haven't subscribed, please do, if you'd like a regular dose of wit and wisdom. And some comments about love, life, and other problems. I was very pleased to hear that a number of people who've said to me that their life has actually significantly changed since they've been listening to the vlogs. And the reason for them is that slowly but surely, you know, the key concepts keep coming through. And they're getting it. And they said it's really interesting that you can listen to the vlogs and you can hear the different ways in which to deal with different things, and it does make a difference. And that's great to hear. I'm glad that it helps. I certainly didn't want to channel that way we're going, well, these are the 4 things you have to do, because, you know, I don't believe in have-tos. But I do believe that by talking about some of the things that maybe I do or other people I know do to handle certain issues, I wish I'd known it when I was younger. I wish I'd known it when I was in my 20s. I think my life would have been very different, but then I might not be here. So I'm happy for the life I've lived because it brought me here. Have a great day, everybody, and I look forward to seeing some of you in the broadcast. Look after one another, but most of all, remember to look after yourself. This is DearMamaSal saying bye-bye for now.